Some places are so beautiful they make people forget a simple truth. Nature isn't gentle just because the sky looks clear today. Jingjiaji in Hunan, China is one of those places. Its towering sandstone pillars rise like colossal blades, mist drifts around the cliffs, and glass bridges hang suspended above the void. Everything feels unreal, as if you've stepped into another world. But the higher I stood, the clearer it became. This beauty always comes with risk, and sometimes a single heartbeat tone second too lattes enough to turn a trip into a nightmare. When I watched 1 second before disaster moments online, I used to think they happened somewhere far away. Lightning exploding the ground, violent winds tearing roofs apart, roads collapsing into sudden craters, rocks falling like cannonballs, cars sliding on ice, trains rushing past with no time to stop. But in Zhangjiaji, I realized those scenes aren't distant at all. Nature can change the entire setting in an instant, and humans, no matter how intelligent, often respond in 3 primitive ways: run, dodge, or freeze. Mornings in Zhangjiajie can feel almost too peaceful. Mist floats like smoke, sunlight pours over the stone columns, and the landscape looks carved by a patient hand. People step onto the glass bridge with excitement, laughing, posing, even bouncing lightly just to feel it shake. Up there, joy can easily become recklessness. I almost hurried too, chasing a better angle for a photo. Then I remembered the clips where one rush decision triggers a chain reaction where panic and speed create chaos. At hundreds of meters above the ground, stay calm is sent a cliché. It's an invisible life jacket.
Electricity and
One quiet danger in Zhangjiajie is the wind. Mountain wind isn't like city wind. It can whisper one moment, then strike with sudden force the next, like an unseen hand. When clouds sink lower, visibility shrinks. The pillars fade, the paths blur, and familiar steps feel strangely uncertain. In that moment, I understood how visibility disappears and a crash follows seconds later is not just something you watch, it's something you can almost feel. Facing a cliff edge hidden by mist, the easiest mistake is also the most human one. It should still be fine. Then there is lightning. In cities, lightning is distant and decorative. In the mountains, a tree near a child, sending a family running in terror. It can strike with such power that the earth bursts upward, leaving viewers chilled by the sky's raw force. Zhangjiajie has sudden storms too. Guides remind visitors not to stand near tall trees, not to linger in exposed areas, and never to push it just a little longer for one more photo. I used to wonder who would take that risk, but when the sky darkened without warning on a mountain trail, I understood how easily recklessness begins with a tiny sentence. Just one more minute. Zhangjiajie also teaches fear through rock and soil, things we assume are permanent. But after heavy rain, cliffs can collapse, saturated ground can slide, entire slopes can shift as if the mountain itself has decided to move. Looking at those vertical walls of stone, I no longer saw only grandeur. I saw a lesson. Things that stand still the longest can sometimes fall the fastest, and danger often arrives before we admit we've grown careless. What stayed with me most wasn't the height, but how Zhangjiajie forces you to relearn the meaning of boundaries. The boundary between courage and stupidity, between experience and showing off, between trusting yourself and respecting nature's rules. In every almost disaster moment, there is a shared truth. Catastrophe doesn't need time to prepare. It only needs a brief moment when you forget you don't control everything. When I left Zhangjiajie, I carried hundreds of beautiful photos, but what remained longer was a sharper awareness. Travel is not only about seeing, it is also about understanding. Understanding every warning sign, every barrier, every rule that says do not cross is written in experience. And sometimes in loss, understanding that nature, no matter how breathtaking, can still turn in a split second. That is why Zhangjiajie is unforgettable, not only as a natural wonder, but as a reminder. Life can be decided by extremely small seconds. One slower step on a wet trail, one pause when visibility drops. One decision not to chase, just one more shot. Knowing when to stop, when to step back, when to respect the weather and the mountain. These actions sound ordinary, but it is often the ordinary choices that save lives. If I had to summarize the trip in one sentence, in Zhangjiajie, you don't only look up at the mountains, you learn humility before the power of nature, so you can stay on the safe side of the thin line between wonder and disaster.